Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. First and foremost, thank you for joining today for this webinar around migration and various traps what we have in a migration journey when we go through. So I would like to share some of the solutions to it and also introduce one of the tool what we have called ZENfra in terms of helping you to navigate through this. So before we begin today, all right. Okay, so to begin with, I hope, I just want to make it in the beginning of this webinar, in case if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, please feel free to unmute your mic and ask a question, because we want to ensure that it's more conversational and more beneficial for you, when it comes to this migration. At the end of the day, you probably looking for some key takeaways where you can use this experience and the knowledge what you gained today for looking at your migration and seamless experience for you, right? I just want to present with some of the industry survey results to begin with, to set the context, so that you understand that what is that industry landscape talks about it, right? About 64% of the IT professional, especially in the larger entities, kinds of identifying that in their legacy IT infrastructure, because when you grow as an organization, you would always have some infrastructure which is kind of behind, because we might have not gone through the tech refresh or the cycles of transformation or modernization, right? So you have a lot of legacy IT infrastructure lying there, which is predominantly from an outdated technology background, which you don't want to touch, because it can create a lot of issues for you if it is not being handled very well in your transformation. That becomes roadblock for your day-to-day operations, right? So that's one of the insight. Second one, about 51% of the IT administrators kind of abandoning the transformation effort, because they don't know what kind of challenges would be presented during that, and if they have not been well equipped to handle that situation, it can become disaster. Maybe rollbacking, or maybe making that environment up for the next business day to begin. Most of these kind of cutover happens off business hours, and they need to make sure that everything is up and running when the business starts on the very next day morning, right? So, and then I want to introduce a platform in this conversation today. It's called ZENfra. I'll go deeper into it while we talk about various aspects of the migration and the traps what we are going to discuss, right? So ZENfra is a platform which you can consider as your trusted advisor when it comes to these kind of challenges, right? So it kinds of act as a data lake for you from an informed visibility perspective of your entire IT infrastructure. Then you have, the packages or the product suite we call it as ZenPack, which kind of addresses your unique business problems to make it more seamless experience for you. So think of that as a data lake sitting there right in front of you. All the data what you have in your customer environment, or your environment for that matter, if you're an end customer, or that matter if you're a system integrator helping other customers in their journey, you can use ZENfra as a platform to collect all the data, do that normalization, standardization, everything, including AI, ML capabilities, and use these product suites, what you see on the green bluish layer on the funnel, and then carve out your unique business value proposition, be it your privilege access management, be it Success 360, which includes your vulnerability assessment, your migrations, discovery and assessment, everything, right? So you can think of this platform for solving your unique business problems, right? It doesn't prescribe you that this is the way you need to do it. Rather, you can create this platform with your business use case as a solution. For that matter, if you are a system integrator, you want to use this platform for your end customer, you can even do a white labeling and make it as your offering your solution offer to your end customer at a fee, right? So there are multiple use cases you can think of it, this platform. But let's get back to the conversation what we had about data center migrations and the trap associated with it. I'm sure most of you are already aware of what is a data center migration. But just to make sure that everybody's on the same page, so that, and if anybody is hearing for the first time or they are in the process of doing the migration, I just want to make sure that you understand that, right? So we have on-premises to on-premises migration, and we also have customers or companies looking for moving into the cloud transformation journey. Then you may have a co-location migration. So you may have multi-tenant kind of environment where you have your data sitting in a co-located space where other companies also having the data lying there in the same data center with proper firewalling and other things, right? And then of course hybrid migration, which is nothing but your mix of on-premises and your cloud burst needs or any other specific needs, or maybe your web server lying on your cloud environment, and your more secure data would be on premises. If you want to have a private cloud kind of a mix, sort of a migration, so we can think of. So these are the typical migration scenarios we come across on a day-to-day basis, right? And then what are the different challenges when you see? Then I'll talk about the traps later and how we help you to come out of those traps, right? So if you look at it, the one of the major challenge or a concern for any data center migration would be the downtime and the service interruption, right? Which I talked about briefly in the beginning of this conversation today, right? Then the other challenge would be, data loss or a corruption. While you are doing this transformation journey, there could be possibility that you end up in losing the data or the data getting corrupted, right? And then it could be another biggest challenge is that because we want to execute everything cost efficiently, right? But you may have a cost and schedule overturn because you did not plan effectively. You may have to consume more and more funds and more resources and more on duration to make these things happen because you did not effectively plan. Because most of the effort goes into the planning state in the beginning, right? And then these are very tactical issues what we have when it comes to dealing with a migration journey, right? Compatibility and dependency issues in the environment, what kind of servers you have. When you think of source to the target, what kind of compatibility issues you may come across, and maybe applications per se, right? So how clean your application dependency mapping looks like. What are the devices I need to move together or bundle it to make it more, more seamless migration, right? Capacity and performance planning, because you might be doing transformation maybe for the sake of scalability or having an improved performance, right? So are you sure that when it comes to your space, power, cooling, network capacity, even the storage capacity and other things, sufficient enough to take the decision while moving one server to another data center or a cloud journey, right? And of course, there are a lot of data movements back and forth. So one of the important factors is about how good your network is, what sort of latency you're facing, because you may have a stipulated time frame to do this migration journey. So then how good your network is equipped to do that, to make it more effective migration, right? These are some of the challenges. And here I just want to show you what are the different aspects of looking at a migration, right? So you do kind of discovery, assess, and prioritize application, which is very common across the board. You may have to retain some of the server assets. You may have to retire some servers. You may have to, probably rehost that into new servers for that matter. Or probably you may have to re-platform. When I say re-platform, it could be something about you're doing modernization on a Kubernetes platform, containerization, right? Modifying the underlying infrastructure, architectural design of it. Or you may be doing some repurchasing, right? So of your existing environments, right? So you might be adding more and more equipments. You might be doing a tech refresh and having a new equipments coming, right? And then probably, rewrite or decouple, redesigning the whole application journey would be going through a complete life cycle change. And then finally, you're integrating everything to your new platform, which is designed from a migration perspective. So then finally, you do the validation, transition, and protection, right? Now, the major topic for today's discussion was around 7 traps what you may probably miss out in the migration journey, right? So something about insufficient planning and preparation, what I talked about in the beginning, because most of the migration journey what I have come across, if we have not done enough planning exercises and preparation activities, it can become a lot of challenges because you'll have a lot of risk to mitigate in between. And then, having a good strategy would be a better solution for it. So you have a detailed migration plan, which includes your, as I mentioned, timelines, resource allocation, your risk assessment, and your contingency plan, right? And making sure that all the stakeholders, including your data center resources, your application owners, your customers, your migration team, or if there's any third party um, softwares and teams supporting you. So every single person is involved, updated, and then you conduct a comprehensive audit of your existing infrastructure to take that journey, right? So planning becomes crucial. And I talked about ZENfra in the beginning. How ZENfra can address this would be, ZENfra has a discovery and assessment capability, which we call as a discovery and assessment ZENpack. It's kind of streamlining all your pre-migration assessment phase, right? It could be your automatic inventory management. So you can have automated way of integrating ZENfra as a platform to your inventory, what you have, and then do a detailed inventory assessment sort of thing. That includes your hardware, software within your data center, right? So that there is nothing that you kind of overlooking while completing your picture of your current environment, right? Then thinking about dependency mapping, ZENfra gives you that capability automatically from various logs what we have collected, or through our Zen collector, which sits in your environment, which is more of an agent-based collection mechanism. We even have a direct collection mechanism, which is agentless. So all those things works together, make a really strong dependency mapping for you. Maps out all the dependencies between application systems, highlighting critical interconnections during the migrations, right? And thereby you get a complete comprehensive assessment, including your performance metrics, and if there are any bottlenecks or any anomalies in your environment, so that you can optimize it, make it more better, and then getting into the target, right? Then risk identification. So if there are risks associated with it, kind of identifying those risks, and then mitigating that through the strategies what you have, and thereby you can define your goals. What kind of dashboards you need to have it, what should be our communication mechanisms, who needs to know what information, right? That includes all your various stakeholders what you have. And finally, it also helps you to allocate your resources effectively, because as I mentioned that resources plays a crucial role. You don't want to over provision number of resources needs to work on this. That includes your your equipments also, and human beings also as a technical resources. So you can plan all of that. You can even do a scenario based migration situation simulation for that matter, and then monitor it effectively. So that kind of a thing you can achieve through ZENfra as a tool when it comes to your migration, right? So the first trap, which is insufficient planning and preparation, is completely mitigated with a platform like ZENfra. Now, the next one is underestimating the downtime and impact, right? So as it says on the trap side, failing to accurately estimate the required downtime, that can be a disaster, right? Because it can lead into your financial losses, even for that matter, even if you're a banking finance company, or maybe, which is very crucial for, maybe hospital chains or something. So you cannot really have huge downtime, right? Because it can impact uh, humankind's in different ways, right? So not just the financial losses, can even impact the goodwill of the organization. So having a detailed analysis of application dependencies and user requirements, what is critical, what needs to be moved first, what is your recovery point objective, or those sort of things is very important. Even having a rollback plan, right? So when it comes to, if there's a failed migration due to various reasons, do you really have a good strategy in terms of rollback plan, right? So that's all important when it comes to, and how ZENfra helps. it helps, as I said, dependency mappings and other things. It gives you clearly, analyze it and predict the impact of the downtime when it comes to non-disruptive migration technologies, what we have. All right, so I'll take a pause here after talking about two traps. Is it aligned with your thought process, or do you have any comments, thoughts, questions so far about the two topics, what I mentioned about insufficient planning and preparation and estimating downtime and its impact? Any questions? Okay, I move on. So testing and validation is self-sufficient, uh, self-explanatory for that matter. You cannot really skip testing of your environment, both new and so if you're doing a greenfield deployment or if you're doing a brownfield deployment, right? So you need to ensure that you have sufficiently test everything before in place when you're preparing your environment, right? Rigorous testing is what I put it on the screen. It could be a functional testing, a performance testing, a security testing, compliance requirements. So I think that I have one more point to the end about the compliance factor of it. So ZENfra helps you to make sure that you have automated backup solutions, which is working functionally, right? So that you don't have any issues if there is a situation comes in. That's part of the testing and validation. Your network assessment, right? So the bandwidth, latency, redundancy needs, right? Infrastructure upgrade requirements if it is on an end of life, end of support platform. So all that things, or if there is any vulnerability associated with it, which needs to be fixed as part of the migration transformation journey. So everything has been taken care with the testing and validation by ZENfra, right? So overlooking at network and connectivity, I've seen many of the times, the data is, I'm talking about the large scale enterprise migration, which I have gone through in the last my 25 years of experience working with various companies. I'm talking about multi-million deals like 10 million, 15 million, 20 million, 50,000 workload, 30,000 workload, right? So there are areas where I've seen a large healthcare company in the United States kind of overlooked at the network latency part of it. And we were doing a cutover, and then, for example, heavy database migrations, right? 30 TB I'm talking about, right? So it requires, I have seen like 15 days from source to the target. It's migrating the data. I'm talking about 30 TB, right? So, and then finally what happens, we kind of spend like 15 days and the 14 days fails because of the network issues, right? So I think overlooking at and then we have to put back again into the backlog of the servers needs to be migrated, and that became a lot of frustration for senior level executives and the migration team and everything, because the reason is that the team who needs to take care of the network did not really pay attention to some of the factors and kind of overlooked at it, right? Kind of brought a lot of issues for that. So making sure that your network requirements, new data center, including the bandwidth, latency, redundancy, right? If there's an upgrade of the network infrastructure needed, if you're thinking of transferring data from on-premises to cloud, is it performance as per the need, and the completion time is very important, right? So
Vipin, if I can jump in. Also, when it comes to networking, by the way, this is Skip Tampley. I'm sorry I was late for the meeting today.
No problem, Skip.
Also important in networking connectivity is such things like ACLs, firewall, ports opening and closing. Those are the things that typically get overlooked, even when you're not transferring between data centers, if you're just transferring between infrastructure in the same data center. Those things are the things that can bite you on cutover day, because even though the two hypervisors can communicate between each other, that doesn't necessarily mean that all of the prospective clients can communicate with the new infrastructure. So that's another thing to look into in your network planning for connectivity.
Thank you. Really, really appreciate that. I think that's an important factor. Thank you, Skip, for bringing that one up. That's really a trap. What don't have the correct port opening of the firewalls and the ACLs, and that really brings up an important point when it comes to networking standpoint. All right, and then the next one is ignoring the regulatory and compliance issues. As you know that people don't pay attention to the compliance and regulatory requirement. They kind of migrate that, and the customer gets sued for non-compliances, right? So ensuring that there should be a team who's looking into it, and then making sure that we are meeting all the regulatory and compliance issues while you're moving data from one region to another region. There are country-specific requirements. So ZENfra kinds of helps you to do that, right? So how it helps ensure adherence to all the regulatory requirements such as HIPAA, GDPR, PCI DSS. So all sort of compliance we can put in there, and then we can run a policy against those and making sure that does it really meets that, right? So that way we can do a compliance management and regulatory audit to ensure that, and that can be automated, right? ZENfra automates compliance audits, generating reports so that you can maintain an ongoing regulatory compliance, right? So that's the beauty of using platforms like ZENfra. So that's being taken care, right? And then the last one is lack of skilled personnel expertise, right? So, we may think that, oh, this is a cakewalk, just need to move data from one location to another. But when you get into real problems, that's where the skilled personnel requirement is very, very crucial when you are in a juncture of migrating critical assets, right? Without necessary expertise can lead into mistakes and delays, right? So I talked about the cost and overrun schedules issues, right? Escalation, customer frustrations, sort of things. So how ZENfra team helps? We have a sister concern called Virtual Tech Gurus. We have experienced resources who can help and support you in the migration, not just the platform alone. They, of course, come with their data analytical skills through the ZENfra as a platform. But we have 15 years of experience doing this migration, large-scale migration, bring some really sophisticated technical resources and consultant at your fingertip to engage for such kind of migration. So that's an advantage ZENfra brings into you through our sister concern, Virtual Tech Groups. So that's also been taken care. So these are the top 7 I could think of from a perspective. Of course, there are many. I mean, there's no end to it. But I just want to mention that typically from our experience, what we have seen, people overlook it and then come into kind of issues and challenges there. But few additional tips. Communication, of course, any project, if you look at it, right, be it migrations or any other projects, communication is important, right? Maintaining clear communication with all the stakeholders, including employees, customers, and service providers. Can you achieve that through ZENfra? Yes, it has got automated email capabilities. You can prepare the dashboard. Boom, you can schedule it. You can make sure that emails are going out. You don't need to worry about the communication because everything is being automated and you get your communication taken care. So you can put all your stakeholders there. You can bring in the CMDB files. You can bring in the stakeholder mapping and other things. So after bill of materials, so you don't miss any aspect of it when it comes to communication because that's the beauty of this product. And documentation, of course, because you have a lot of charts and reports available for you. So it becomes easier for you to plot those in your PowerPoint presentations or even export that as a PDF and attach through your email. So documentation part with all the policies, configurations, what you do, it's all in your fingertip, right? So, and then post-migration support, of course. You can look at it from a validation perspective. Everything is working because we have observability package within ZENfra embedded into it. So that way you can ensure that everything is functioning as expected. And if there is any challenges, you can go into identify that issues at the very early stage so that you can complete the tasks effectively. So with that, I would like to have my team present a demo to you from a ZMIC perspective. But I would like to know if there are any further questions or Skip, if you want to add any additional thoughts here, we're open to take that right now before we jump onto the demo. Once we have done with the demo, we'll come back again to this same group, asking if you have any questions. And we can definitely help you and support you to get a free trial for 30 days. If you're interested, so our sales representative can reach out to you. And we can also share our LinkedIn profiles and our ZENfra web page and our LinkedIn corporate LinkedIn page. So you can reach out in any forms. If you have a question, we are happy to support you in this migration journey at whatever stage you are in, or you're just thinking about it. You're in the middle of the migration. You need more help. We're there for all that support what you need, right? Let me open up for any questions if you have from this point what we have discussed.
Yeah, if I can just jump in for 1 second.
Yeah.
75% of migration projects fail. not because of a failed migration, but because of improper planning and a lack of understanding going into the project. So, the more effort and time you put into, I don't want to say time, the more effort and dedication you put into planning a migration of this type, the more likely you are to be successful and the more likely you are to keep your customers happy. And that's the key here. The key here is keeping the customers happy by providing a seamless migration. And that is what we bring to the table as a strength to assist you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that insights as well. We can, I think with that, probably we can, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. If not, we can jump on to a quick demo.
Thank you, Vipin. So for the ZENfra applications, so we have like so there are 4 steps involved in ZENfra application to assess the ZMIG packages. That is like the data discovery, and the second step is assessment. So, and third step is recommendation, and fourth step is managing the projects. So the collection of data we have here, we support almost like 42 devices for now for migrating, as mentioned it earlier, for even if it is a server VM, switch or network switch or storage. So we support like 42 devices now. And so we have like so the automated data collections where you can see collect data directly from the devices through API. We support that. We can also collect data information directly from the cloud. And if you are having your data in any NFS location or NAS devices or FTP or SFTP storages, and servers there, we can also connect there and we can directly pull out your data and to the ZENfra application for the discovery and the assessment. So so this is automated, so you can schedule it. So and you can get your data into the ZENfra application. There is a manual way of uploading the data as well. So you can upload the data directly to the system, and for the more convenient purpose. So we are providing multiple scripts also. So for manual upload, okay. And so okay, can you go to that manual upload screen, please? Yeah. So we can also have script for downloading it, and then so once the data is discovered, so we are providing the assessment. Move to assessment. So we have assessment as well here. So we have complete inventory of all the devices discovered in an environment. So for example, you have an environment, maybe it is an on-premises or a cloud. So we do, discover through, as I mentioned it in the earlier, so auto discovery or an manual discovery. So you can pull out all the data and we providing this information for you, like the total physical server capacities, VM capacity, or how many switches, storages, how it is connected, what type of OS are there, and how many of the OSs are Linux, Windows, and the variation of the OSs as well. And the simple insights on the HP as well. What is the driver version and whether it is replicated HPY firmware version. So the complete inventory. So to look into like so, and also we provide like so based on the configuration of the servers, that also is available here for simple understanding. Okay. So this is inventory. And if you want to go in depth of the inventory, so we have splitting it into compute, storage, as well as network switches. So if you deep dive into compute, you will have like individual how many physical servers are there, what are the OS is running in each servers, and what is this speed of port speed of the HBA, or so, and the capacity is shared with this physical servers or the VMs. So that information will be available in the compute. And if you go to the storage assessment, it gives you the overall architecture of the storages, which is connected to the server, like how many overall array capacity, or what is the OS version, disk count, and likewise how many snapshots are there, so how it is connected to the servers. So those informations will be available here. Likewise for the network switches as well. Sorry. So these kind of insights will be very helpful for you to make the initial assessments on what the current setup you have it in your environment. Once it's completed, so we also provide insights on the migration as well. So in the migration, so you can see, like, go to the migration dashboard, please. Yeah. So in the migration also you can see, so what is the, whether it is compatible to move, or what is the remediation process you need to do. Okay, so how many is supported, how many is not supported. Okay, so the hardware wise, OS wise, or HPO wise, and also we provide the dependencies also of application and the server as well, how the applications are connected to create an wave group or a move group. So that is also we providing it. You can export this into directly into the project management, creating a move group, and you start your project management as well. Okay, so once we identify all those information, so you can directly move to the project management from the analytics. Okay, so once you come here, so we have all the data discovered here, or the devices which we put into a move group, and then we'll have the relevant information. Okay, this is a template which we already is inbuilt in the system. So, and if you want to customize this is also possible based on your need. So so you can also have all the status of the migration aspects here, or if you want to, initial purpose, initial stages for pre-planning, we also provide compatibility checks of the devices, whether it is compatible or not. So the system defined rules or the policies will help you out for that, to put it as to whether to create a move group, or whether it is in scope or out of scope. Okay, so then once you have checked the compatibility and what kind of migration method you can use to move this, the identified devices, so that recommendation will be provided by the system with the help of the system defined rules. Okay, so that you can reduce the downtime, you can save the cost, and best way of moving it, so without data loss. So that based on that, the migration method will be recommended. So once a migration method comes in here, so you can also track when the migration started, when it is ended, so who is the responsible person, which region it is. So all those information you can track it from the project management here itself. So to support this information, we can also have the server related info from the discovery point of view. So which the system ZENfra application is already providing, through which we have created the insights. So click on the server info. So we have the server informations as well. So complete overview of the servers which is needed to move from which is needed for the migrations. We have it in the server info. So if you need any additional data to be added to the project management, that is also is possible. So you can import those information to the system. This can be attached to the server analytics, and we can provide you that information as well. Okay, so this is a complete package, like from discovery, assessment, and providing the recommendation, and we do the project management right from the move group, creating a move group, pre-planning, creating a move group, and then tracking the project. And once it's completed, the completed status and providing those information can be exported and can be sent it to the respective person for as a report as well. So this will give you the complete circle of the migration process here. And also, if you want to add any kind of intelligence, so that system can be I mean, will do automatically recommend the devices for adding into the move group. That is also possible. So any part of this is a customizable part. So or any type of assessments you need to be added to the system. That is also an is possible with the ZENfra application. Okay, that is how tangible the applications are. So based on your requirements, we study that, and we can come up with the solution that you need. So any clarification on this particular 4 parts which I explained to you, you can ask me.
Thank you so much for a very high-level overview and the demonstration of the product, Gautam. Really appreciate it. As I said, if you want to know more about it, definitely feel free to reach out to us. Or if you have any questions right away, you can ask this question. So we are happy to answer it. But if you're looking for, it just doesn't stop in migration alone, right? So we have various impacts. As I said in the beginning of the conversation, that it's considered it as a data lake, and then various business use case, and it's highly flexible. All these configurations, all these menus, what you see is highly customizable, so that you can make it look and feel the way you want, not necessarily the way we are showing you today, right? So the menu structure, the look and feel, what charts you need to get in, what sort of intelligence you need to bring in, everything is highly customizable. So there's nothing that you can, oh, we don't prescribe that this is the way you need to flow through to make that happen. So if you're interested in our any of the packages, be it vulnerability assessment, user risk, privilege access management, your chargeback requirement, your various other factors like network assessments or storage assessments, server, be it anything. So you can consider this as a single shop, one-stop shop for all your requirements. So thereby, you can create a business value around infra ops, SecOps, and FinOps. So we have not showcased you on the financial aspect of it, how it will help you to take those decisions. Predictive analytics, AI, ML engine, right? So there are a lot many aspects when it comes to this platform, which serves your various customer needs or business use cases, right? So if you're interested, feel free to reach out to us. We'll definitely have our salesperson reach out to you if there's any additional questions or queries you may have around this. Or if you want to make your hands dirty with this platform, we can definitely give you user credentials. Since it is hosted on an AWS platform, it's easy for you to consume and try it around and see how good value proposition creates it for your day-to-day operations and your customer satisfaction. So with that, any questions from the demo or the conversation, what we had so far, we're happy to take it. Okay, with that, let me share the contact information. If you would like to reach out to us on the phone, you have phone numbers, email address, everything. And also feel free to reach out or explore our website, ZENfra.ai. And then let us know if you have any questions, right? So if we don't have any further queries, questions, Skip, you want to add anything before we conclude today?
No, I'd like to thank everybody for joining today, and we are looking forward to assisting you in any way we can.
Thank you, Skip. With that, that's last slide before I say thank you. So thank you so much for joining today, and feel free to reach out to us, and happy to support you. With that, we can close for today. Thank you.